going on, Jerome's? A beautiful Saturday, birds are chirping stuff. It's time for another Vikings news dump. So, Adrian Peterson, pictured here, front center, which, by the way, there's a couple things going on here. So, I believe this is week one of, no, it wasn't week one. It was, but they're playing in St. Louis, playing the Rams. Edward Jones down from back in the day. And the Rams throwbacks are just so damn good. I mean, just look at these damn things. Also, this is back when Breast Cancer Awareness Month was all October. So there's a lot of pink highlights. You can see it in you can see it in Hutchinson's C. Also, you can see it on the Rams sideline as well. Plus, just having a left guard that's just going to go out there and whoop somebody's ass, throw dudes out of the club. That's what Donovan Jackson's going to be, man. Woo. Love to see that. Also, John Sullivan. So, look, an undersized center who can actually do his damn job. It's amazing. Like, I love Sully, man. But Adrian Peterson, also, hold up. So Adrian Peterson, not wearing the gloves, just wearing the tape, wearing the wristband, wearing the elbow sleeve. Like, everything about this aesthetic is amazing. I love the Rams throwbacks. The Vikings are looking deep purple. That's not deep purple. Doesn't matter. But yeah, and even though like these late 90s, early aughts, wait, no, not even late 90s, like the aughts uniforms, like they weren't bad. They weren't good. They weren't bad. But anyways, Adrian Peterson, he was on the Stories Untold podcast. He was being interviewed at the remember Adrian was playing some high stakes poker. Good times, man. Vikes fan page, Adrian Peterson's top 4 running backs of all time, not in order. So not in order. Barry Sanders himself. There's some accountant in Toledo named Barry Saunders. The dude's just like, himself, Emmitt Smith, as well as Walter Payton. Now, obviously, that's 80% of the top 5 rushers of all time. And there's a lot of things here. So first off, Frank Gore. So the only running back not in, Adrian's going to be in the Hall of Fame, first ballot likely. But Frank Gore is the only rusher in the top 10 of all time who's not in the Hall of Fame. I think that he will get in, probably like a Veterans Committee type vote. But I mean, Frank Gore, his longevity is amazing. He ended up third all time, 16,000 rushing yards on the nose. And what's amazing is that when he was at Miami, that's just the U being the U, there was a lot of concerns about his injuries and if he would have a long career. Well, and we made the case before that peak height value is better than longevity, right? And at no point was Frank Gore, a top 3 running back in the league. Maybe he's flirting with top 5 at his absolute peak, but there is something to be said about longevity, especially at the running back position, but argument for another day. But again, Adrian's top 4, Barry Saunders, himself, Emmitt Smith, as well as Walter Payton. Now, Emmitt, I mean, I am of the opinion that there's 2 records that will never be broken in NFL history. Paul Krause's 81 interceptions, because quarterbacks just don't throw that many picks anymore, right? Unless it's Jameis. And then Emmitt Smith's rushing record, because it's a different era. It's a passing league. And I remember Emmitt Smith played for 15 years, right? And you just don't see running backs getting that type of run anymore. Over those 15 years, he was getting running back 1 work 12, 13 of those years at least. Yeah. And teams run the piss out of the ball, first and foremost. It wasn't running back by committee. You had workhorse running back. So Emmitt Smith's record at 18-3-5-5 is pretty safe. Walter Payton. So I just finished re-listening to the Walter Payton, Jeff Pearlman book, Sweetness. And Walter Payton, all-time great. Played on some very bad Bears teams. Remember, he was older. He was like an old veteran during the 85 Bears run. So Walter Payton, respect. Barry Sanders. I mean, Detroit just wasted him. Like Barry Sanders, like his Oklahoma State stats. Barry Switzer for Oklahoma. Don't hurt Thurman, because you don't want to face his backup Barry Sanders, which is great, man. But I mean, human highlight reel, right? And I know that's Dominique Wilkins' nickname, but Barry Sanders was literally box office, man. And even as a Vikings fan, and even when Barry Sanders was doing terrible things to the Vikings, you just had to be like, damn. You had this little dude out there juking fools, passing up clear running lanes, by the way, and just making big-time plays is just amazing. Amazing. And Adrian, respect. On the field, Adrian Peterson, at his absolute peak, I think that we were watching greatness. Like, absolutely one of the best running backs of all time. And could he finish higher on this list if he didn't get suspended that 1 year, basically? Yeah, probably. But, Curtis Martin's underrated. Because when you think of the pantheon of the greatest running backs of all time, everyone forgets about Curtis Martin. But his time with the Patriots, especially his time with the Jets, he was just that dude, man. LaDainian Tomlinson, probably the best all-around running back of all time. Bettis the Bus. You forget, Bettis put up 13,000 yards. That's crazy. His time with the Rams as well, the Steelers, walking off with a home run, walking off with a Super Bowl win in his hometown, Detroit, in easily the worst officiated Super Bowl ever, by the way. Seahawks fans are still mad about that one, even though they won one. Dickerson, SMU, Pony Express, let's go. Tony Dorsett. Pitt had some running backs, man. So Curtis Martin, Pitt, Tony Dorsett, Pitt. Jim Brown's number 11, by the way. Greatest fullback of all time. Also, even a better lacrosse player, crazy enough. So, Emmett knows, he understands. I think if I was to name the top 4 running backs of all time, I think that he's correct. And now to put him in order, I would go Barry 1. I would go Barry 1, Peyton 2, Emmett 3, Adrian 4. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Where Emmett, Emmett has the all-time rushing list, but he also had the benefit of, once Jimmy Johnson assembled, honestly one of the greatest running backs of all time. Or honestly one of the greatest offensive lines of all time. You run behind Larry Allen. Come on, man. And, Peyton played on some bad Bears teams. Let's talk about that. Barry Sanders, same thing. Adrian Peterson, same thing. So I think that when it's this close, and yes, Emmitt Smith has the rushing record by almost 2,000 yards, right? But I do think you have to factor the caliber of the team in there, right? Because between Walter Payton and Barry Sanders and Adrian Peterson, there's one Super Bowl win, one Super Bowl appearance, too. Anyways, speaking of running backs who won't be in the Hall of Fame, NFL, Jahmyr Gibbs went off in 2 games versus the Vikings last season. 330 total yards, 6 touchdowns. He'll see them in weeks 9 and 17 this season. Now, I do think that Ben Johnson and his play calling creativity was a major part of that. And also, I know the Vikings don't have Beasley anymore. But Gibbs, this is stuff that certainly keeps Brian Flores up at night, even in the offseason, right? And even though the Vikings have revamped things to be more of a pass rushing team up front, they're still going to be able to stop the run. Just play your lane, don't play hero ball, funnel, and it'll be fine. Things will be fine. Everything's going to be all right. A major part of things being all right is Jonathan Gernard. So Gernard basically came over as a swappy swap for Danielle Hunter. And also you're just bringing aboard all the Texans like Cashman, Shaq Griffin as well. It's good. It's good times. But Greenard in his first season with the Vikings, basically learning a new position and a new defense on the fly. And Brian Flores' defense, one of the most complicated defenses in the league. But Greenard stepped up, team leader, got things done. 3rd in the league in pressures, 12 sacks last year as well, en route to a starter in the Pro Bowl. Should have been named second team All-Pro, but it is what it is. But Gernard, he's the type of guy that's going to keep getting better and better, right? And that's what's fantastic about Jonathan Gernard, where his first season with the Vikings, great. He's still in the thick THICC of his prime, and I think that he's going to be ascending a lot. Plus, also, the timing of his big plays is what really stood out. So his time against the Bears, the sack against Caleb Williams in overtime, the sack on Monday Night Football, overall just really good. And Mina Kimes, ESPN, do not rewatch Week 12 if you don't want to buy in on Caleb Williams while his stock's depressed. So Vikings won in overtime. Basically, they did their best to try and blow this game. All right, so the Bears scored 17 points in OT, and remember they're down 11 with a minute 30 to go, something like that. But the Vikings won in overtime, mainly because Jonathan Gernard got that big time sack in OT. And remember, Gernard was gassed, as was both defenses. And Gernard, I think he was thrown up on the sideline, but he got things done in the clutch, and the Bears had all the momentum in the damn game. And he broke that on the first possession of overtime, getting a sack, putting them behind the 8-ball, and then you just go from there, man. But, I mean, I just remember the frustration of this game because Caleb Williams had struggled up until this point for the most part, but 32 of 47, 340, 2 touchdowns, and just he had so many like stupid throws. We'll just call it that. Like I love and respect Caleb Williams as a quasi USC fan, but a lot of his throws were just straight up pulled out of his ass. Like that frustrating throw to DeAndre Swift up the sideline, and there's so many times where he was almost sacked. He was almost picked off. Notably, Andrew Van Ginkel a couple times. Not blaming AVG, but life's a game of inches. That old speech. But I don't know. It was just so close. Like, which shoulda, coulda, woulda. But it doesn't matter. But yeah, Caleb Williams. The Bears got OTAs this last week, and people freaking out. Always looking good. Always looking fantastic in the capris. And also, the Bears indoor practice facility, it looks like a Menards. Save big money when you shop Menards. So why not? Why not, man? But either way, Jonathan Gernard is very special. I'll love me some Danielle Hunter forever, but Gernard was certainly a fantastic replacement for 99. Also, I have no transition, but so we've tilted at windmills the last couple of days where they're coming out with receiver rankings of receivers because basically it's ranking season, right? And the whole thing about it is that generally the Vikings get disrespected, even with Justin Jefferson, right? And we've talked about it's a cottage industry where writers will just be like, Jefferson is not wide receiver 1 just for clicks and engagement, and to a degree it worked because it pisses us off and we talk about it because we always like to point out the malfeasance and where the national media jabroni haircuts are wrong, right? But this one was right. Elliott Cobb, 33rd team. Again, are they still making content? I thought they were just out of the game. But wide receiver duos of all time. Top 11, which is whatever. Moss and Carter, yes. So finally, just a little bit of respect. Now, there's a couple other ones here. So, Jerry Rice, John Taylor. This is much more about Jerry Rice. Like, John Taylor was a stud, don't get me wrong, but all right, so Randy Moss, Chris Carter. Jerry Rice, John Taylor. You know what I mean? Randy Moss and Wes Welker, respect. Those dudes broke records together. Huge numbers. Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan, very underrated. For me, I think that Fitz is the number 3 receiver of all time. Yeah, because I would put Moss, Rice, Fitz, Carter, Mike T.O., Marvin Harrison. One of the two. Yeah. Anyways, Harrison and Reggie Wayne at 6. Respect. I mean, they're very underrated. But Jamar Chase, T. Higgins at 5. All time. Oh, Riri. Okay. It seems really disrespectful to have a duo on this list that are still playing. It's not even like they're at the tail end of their careers. They both just got extended. Ridiculous. Clayton and Duper, the Marks brothers, very underrated with their time in Miami. Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, where it's not about the black and white stats, right? Because it was a different era, and Chuck Noll was very much it wasn't a huge passing game, right? Even though Terry Bradshaw was getting after things, but just the timing of their plays, especially in the Super Bowl. Lynn Swann with the acrobatic catches, John Stallworth getting things done. So yeah, respect there. Bruce and Holt, again, very underrated. And then first off, I thought this list was very good, except then I saw 5, 10, and 11. So Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, really. All right, so by Glinta being on this list, you're saying that you're one of the greatest receivers of all time. You're really ready to say that Jalen Waddle is one of the greatest receivers of all time? I understand that Tyreek is a dude, but you just Waddle's not even out of his rookie deal. You're just saying he's one of the greatest receivers of all time? Come on. And then A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So I feel like that's just getting swept up in the moment. Oh, A.J. Brown's the best wide receiver in the game. Okay. And again, the whole crux of Sycamore over at PFF is that A.J. Brown does really well against single coverage. You know who doesn't? get a lot of single coverage, Justin Jefferson, because he's being constantly doubled and tripled, and he has better stats than A.J. Brown. But of course, A.J. Brown won the Super Bowl, so whatever. Speaking of the Dolphins, this one's fun to me. So, Dolphins signed quarterback Britt Gabbard, the younger brother of Blaine Gabbard, and you'll remember Blaine Gabbard, where prior to Mizzou, I mean, he literally looks like Bo Callahan, the blonde locks and stuff, but I don't know, like this was 2011 was such a weird draft. So, Cam Newton won one up at the top, but then you got like Von Miller and, AJ Green is all up in that mix. Patrick Peterson is there. HOF, Julio Jones. Oh, actually, Julio might be 5 for my greatest receiver list. Aldon Smith was on a Hall of Fame path before he veered off the path, literally and figuratively. They got Tyron. Tyron's good. I remember Tyron Smith had to play right tackle at USC because Matt Khalil was left tackle, and he was that damn good. Could have been. Then also JJ. It's so frustrating. Like JJ Watt at 11, Christian Ponder at 12. I wonder if the Vikings would have drafted the stupid Badger / Gophers tight end recruit legend. I don't know. So there was a panic and a mini run on quarterbacks in this draft. Jake Locker to the Tennessee Titans at 8, Blaine Gabbard to the Jaguars at 10. And if I remember right, I think the Vikings had done a lot of diligence on Jake Locker. I think they were fully in on him, but he retired early. Gabbard obviously didn't pan out, but he did bounce around the league, was a decent backup for a number of years. I think he got a Super Bowl ring or 2 with the Chiefs. Who knows, man? But then the Vikings, they panicked. All right, the Vikings just panic-picked Christian Ponder. Let's call a spade, because there's a run on quarterbacks, and they're like, oh, we got to come up with a quarterback, but it didn't quite work out. But the Dolphins quarterback room might be the most unserious quarterback room in NFL history. So you got Blaine Gabbard's brother, you got Quinn Mullet Ewers, you got Zach Wilson, hide the moms down in South Beach, and then you got Tua, who, I don't know, Tua, I never really liked Tua, and then he threw Flores under the bus for no reason, and now I'm just completely against it. Like, I have a fatwa against Tua at this point, so who knows. But again, this is the most unserious quarterback room ever, and I love it. Something I also love, so Around the Horn, Bill Hoffmeyer, ESPN, after 23 years today, Friday, was the final Around the Horn, episode 4953. Woody Page tops the leaderboard all time, So 4953 shows, 61 panelists, 23 years. Woody Hayes leading the way for wins. Now, I don't know why Around the Horn isn't relevant anymore. Like, the format should work, but I wonder why it's not working. Yeah, but I remember, like, growing up, Around the Horn was fantastic, man. Like, Around the Horn, PTI, like, that was prime. That was probably the last time I watched original ESPN program from back in the day. All right, and Around the Horn was good. It was a way to get opinions about the sports topics of the day when they talk specifically about sports, and it was just great. And it made stars out of Woody Page, who was fantastic. Although he was on Cold Pizza with Skip Bayless back in the day, which then led into First Take, which I don't know, man. Yeah, Kalishaw, Plashke, Bob Ryan, Blackistone, Nadande. It was great. Show was great. Sad to see it go. I don't know. Again, it should still work, right? But who knows? Who knows, man? Anyways, that's it. That's at Vikings News Dump on this beautiful, glorious Saturday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.